Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to my talk. I hope you're excited for talking about Jira. I know I am, yeah. I know Jira is such an exciting topic, right? Everyone loves it. Okay, so first I will do much like Gary did in the keynote. I will talk a little bit about my career. So about 10 years ago, when I got my degree, I started an internship in a small company in Zagreb, Croatia. And one thing led to another, and here I am, basically. That's it. So yeah, for the past 10 years, I've been working at the same company. I went from internship, junior, mid, senior developer, tech lead, project team lead, and now I'm working as head of backend department. So for all the time, I think I got different aspects of the projects from different angles. So I will like to talk a little bit about that. But let's see, how many of you are developers? I presume most of you, right? Are there any project managers here? Okay. How many of you work with Jira? How many of you like working with Jira? Okay, that's not just project managers. That's a new one. Okay, great. I did a little bit of survey between my colleagues and some friends from different companies. And I asked them over the past years, what was their source of frustration, of uneasy feeling. And there were different answers, We had financial crisis, vaccinations. In Croatia, we had earthquakes and stuff like that. But there was definitely one answer to rule them all. So yeah, why is it? Why is that? Why do people use Jira and hate Jira at the same time? So let's see a little bit more about that. Have you seen this TikTok?
Hey Dom. Yeah? What did you do yesterday? I fixed 3 bugs, scoped 2 tasks, and implemented 3 new features. But have you updated your Jira trackers? No, sorry. That's the same as you did nothing!
Does it sound familiar to any of you? Yeah, that's what happens, and that's what usually is the most the part where the project managers and the rest of the team are really clashing about. Developers do everything, do the stuff, do everything they think they should do, and the project managers know nothing about it. Why? Because the Jira is not updated. So, when I first noticed that this was happening, I sat down with the project manager I was working closely with at that time, and we agreed that we should define some stuff. Let's see what are our pain points, what is it that people don't know about, should do, shouldn't do, and talk about it. First stuff we decided to do is talk about nomenclature, so about naming. So what is what? It's not just about what you know or what the tech lead knows or what the project manager knows. It's about everyone included. Everybody who's onboarded on a project should be aware what is the difference between, a story and an epic. Do it somewhere, define it, write it in simple human language, make it accessible to everyone. Jira is full of terms and phrases that are targeted at project managers, product owners, key account managers, etc. Make it accessible to developers, makes it accessible to everyone who is coming here, who is working with it. Yeah. Does that sound familiar also to you? I heard someone laughing. Can you see what's wrong with this issue? This is actually a translation for an actual issue from an actual project I got. So we have crappy name. We have several stuff in the same task. It's a task and it should probably be a bug, etc., etc. So let's see how to avoid this. This doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help the project, it doesn't help developers, it doesn't help the client. So after you defined what are the words, what do the words mean, then you have to define the workflow. What does it mean when the task is in some status? What does it mean when it has to be assigned to someone? Who does it have to be assigned to? Make sure everyone involved on the project, in your team, knows that. What does it mean if the status is testing? What does it mean? Who is testing it? Where is it available for testing? Is it on some server or is it somewhere else? How do you get to it? Make sure that you know who is responsible for testing it, so it can be assigned to that person. That's also something very important. I would suggest doing some simple diagrams for this. There are diagrams like Jira workflows and stuff like that you can get out of the box. But again, use human language. Make it accessible. Make it clear for everyone. Don't get tangled up into, just having all these diagrams. Just do a flow that covers 90% of your cases. You will have edge cases. You will have something that will not be clear for everyone how to handle it. Then you can untangle that. But we have something that will be readily available for everyone who is onboarding on the project. Naming is one of the toughest stuff in programming, right? Everyone can agree on that. It's similar when creating Jira tasks. Names should be short and precise. Why? Because the status of the board, status of the Jira, is actually status of your project. It's a snapshot of your project at the current time. It should be easy for everyone, from client, product owners, project managers, UX designers, UI designers, developers. Anyone who opens the board should be able to see approximately what is the status of the project. Where is it? What's going on? In what states are the different modules of the project? Names help with that. If it's really short, if it's precise, if it's well-defined, then it's easy. When you first look at it, when you first look at the board, you can easily see what needs to be done, what has been done, and what is going on right now, and what is blocking. Write nice descriptions. So, yeah, duh. Have you encountered, how many of you can say that all tasks or issues have had good description? I mean, very rarely. Descriptions are the most important stuff there are here, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But also, avoid communication depth. What does that mean? Similar when you're coding something and you take shortcuts, you then have technical depth, right? We all know about that. That's something that's talked about a lot. You have many talks about it in different sessions. But nobody talks about communication depth. When you decide to take corners there, when you decide to skip a description in an issue, Jira issue, when you decide that you will not add a comment, or you forget to add a comment, when you make a decision, come to a decision with a colleague over Zoom call, or by water cooler, and you make a decision, and you don't write that decision in Jira, you are creating communication depth. I'm not saying that the discussion should be in Jira. Of course not. You can have meetings, you can have discussions, you can have any other type of communication where you will discuss and come to a conclusion. But make sure to write down the conclusion in Jira. Why? What is communication depth and how does it present? Well, communication depth means that sooner or later you will find that you are doing stuff multiple times, same stuff, that you are doing wrong stuff, that you are fixing what shouldn't be fixed, that you are fixing the wrong thing, that nobody knows why something is done, etc., etc. So names and descriptions are also important for you as a developer, because 6 months or a year later, you find a bug, you are hunting down a bug, and you see a git commit, and the commit is naturally tagged with the issue ID, right? So when you open it, you can easily see why that commit is there, because you have a precise issue name. And it's really clear, and it's easy to follow. If you need more information, then you will open that issue, and then you will see comments, and you will know why something has been done. It's also to cover your ass. To be honest, this is something that has helped me a lot in many, many times. If your client has access to Jira, especially. I've had cases where client creates an issue, and it's, we want this and that. Okay. And then have some discussion through Jira comments, and in the end, they decide that actually they want a little bit different behavior. So, okay, we implement that. Fast forward 1 year, and the client comes at us with, why is this not working how we specified? We explicitly said that we want this, 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 this. Then, what do? I simply take a screenshot of their comment or send a link to that comment, where they explicitly asked for a change. In 100% of the cases that I did that, their response was, oh, okay. So that's how you cover your ass. Otherwise, you are really exposing yourself for a liability. You are, it could lead to penalties, charges, and etc. So be sure not to have any communication depth in your project. I've separated two simple ways of creating issues. Let's say just features and bugs, just for simplicity's sake, and talk a little bit more about description. If you have an issue that is a feature, what should be in a description? It should be understandable for everyone. So it's not only, of course, if it is a technical subtask, then it will be technical. But if it's just a feature explanation, it should be really understandable for everyone, be it UX designer, UI designer, front-end developer, back-end developer. As a whole, it should be understandable. It should have acceptance criteria, clear outcome expectations, and links to designs. This will shorten development time. It will make it easier for you to do it. It will make it easier for anyone to do it. It is easier to delegate tasks that are done like this. And again, if you have well-defined acceptance criteria, once again, you're covering your ass. And then we have bugs. Not working, yeah. How many of you have a dog? Do you know when a dog starts barking and you're like, what's wrong? What's wrong, boy? What's wrong? Yeah, that's how it feels when you get a task like this. What's not working? Where is it not working? So actual behavior, what is the expected behavior, how to reproduce, this is really important, how to reproduce. Add as many multimedia as possible, ask for as many multimedia as possible, ask for screenshots, ask for GIFs, videos, whatever. And of course, PHP web linked to the problem. I can't blame the clients when they do stuff like this, when they just report, login is not working. From client's perspective, that is true. They don't think about what that means. They just say, oh, it's not working, figure it out. But when a fellow developer comes to me and says login is not working, that's like, why? Have you not worked with anyone before? Because, if login is not working, what does it mean that login is not working? Does it do redirect? Does it crash after login? Does it say wrong credential? Does it say any error? Where is it? Is it maybe front-end login? Is it back-end login? Is it which user are you using? Which user group is the user in? Just provide as much information as possible. So, yeah, at this point, you are probably asking yourself, why am I at a developer conference hearing about Jira? Because I'm a developer, right? And Jira is a project management tool. Well, yes and no. In my opinion, Jira is a responsibility of everyone who is involved on the project. If you are not part of a solution, you're part of a problem, right? It's like when you're sitting in traffic. And you're sitting in traffic and you are asking yourself, why is all this traffic here? Well, you are the traffic. So it's similar here. If you are the one complaining, and I had colleagues like that are complaining about mess on the board, mess with the Jira, they don't understand the process. Those people who complain the most were usually the ones that never changed the status, never changed the assignee, never commented on anything. So don't be part of the problem, be part of the solution. Return tasks that are not properly defined. Do not be afraid to do it. For all project managers that I've talked with, you will correct me if I'm wrong, but all project managers that I've talked to said that they would be thankful if developers returned more tasks to them before they start development. Why? Because project managers also are not always sure what they need to do, what they are missing. They don't know all the details they might need to tell the developer. They get a ticket from the support issue, support system from the client, and they just pass it on. They don't know that maybe, login issue might be caused by different browser version. So they don't think about asking. But if you, as a developer, get such an issue, it should be your responsibility to return the issue back to the project manager and tell them, okay, as the client, are there any error messages? Which browser are they using? Stuff like that, okay? So it's also your responsibility. Everyone who works on a project should be responsible for the hygiene, for the cleanliness of the board. The board should be clean, should be in correct status, it should have correct assignees, etc., etc. You as a developer do not need to know all the details. I'm not saying that you should know how everything in Jira works. I don't think developers need to know which component is it or any other stuff. Is it billable or not billable, blah, 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 blah. It's not your problem. But what you should care about are the most important stuff. The status, the assignee, and stuff like that. So, can you read this? Yeah? When I was preparing my talk, this talk for a local conference in Croatia, I tweeted about it, all excited. I'll have a talk called Jira Sucks. What do you think about it? And my colleague wrote this as a response. Depends on who writes the tickets, how they're linked, blah, blah. Who can guess what this person does for a job? Manager. Yeah, manager. Yeah. You can see he mentions clients, he mentions product owners, he mentions managers. He mentions, there's not one mention of a developer here. Why is that? Why is it never developers here? I mean, think about it. You have a project. You have 10 people working on a project, and you have one project manager. Do you really want to tell me that the whole system, that everything is based on, the whole project is based on, should cater only one person instead of 10 other people that are working there? I don't think so. I believe that Jira is a tool for a project manager, but also I believe that its users are developers. And we as users have to take a little bit charge there. We have to see how to make it useful for us. We have to make the tool, how to use the tool and not have the tool use us all the time, okay? So I decided to look what is actually the problem here. So what's the normal flow that goes around in a project? You have a task, it's assigned to you, you put it in progress, and then you create a pull request, it goes to review, then you assign it to reviewer, then it goes into testing or staging or whatever you might have. This is really simplified, for example. But, this is boring. This is box pushing. This is repetitive. And if it's repetitive, you can make mistakes. Even in this GIF, you can see somewhere on dev review, I forgot to assign it, reassign it. So if it's repetitive, I think that it can be automated, right? Yeah, and that sounds like a job for me. So naturally, what I did, as any decent human being should do when trying to research something, I went to the library, I found, peer-reviewed articles, researched, contacted some esteemed authors and stuff like that. Basically, this. First two links on Jira. Surprisingly, I am not the first one who noticed that this can be automated. It's actually built in within Jira. There's automation within Jira. Is anyone here aware of this? Okay, a decent number. More than my company. So yeah. There is automation. It's really, really great. It's really easy to set up. So I will now talk a little bit about automation and how it's used, how it can be used. It has three most important parts: triggers, conditions, and actions. Triggers are something that will start the rule, start the process, right, within Jira. Then we have conditions. Conditions are scope which we can select which tasks it applies to, And actions, of course, are in the end what really happens at the end of, as the end of the result of the rule. It's really, really good. It's really, really powerful. It's really, really simple. But it can bite you in the ass. So also be careful how you do it. Keep an eye on it when you first introduce it. Okay, I will now try to do a little demo live, so let's see how it will work. I'm always nervous when doing something live like this. Yeah, okay. Okay, we have like this example demo Kanban. I will first create a task and assign it to myself. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay, let's put it into selected for development. And let's create it. Okay, so now we have automation. It's really, really simple. I have some from before, but they are all turned off. Okay, so when I first thought about this and started to look into it, I figured what is the one thing that is the biggest, point of pain in the project. Do you know that meme that was like, have you heard about the parrot who learned how to say, how's the project going? He got promoted to project manager, right? So why do project managers always come up to you and ask, how's the project going? How is it going? Because you don't update the tasks. There's no task in progress, Everything is just unassigned, or everything isn't selected for development, or everything isn't to do, because you start working on it and you don't tell anyone you started working on it. So my bet was that it was easier to make developers push an empty branch than it is to open Jira and drag the box to in progress. So I created the rule that says pull request created. If it's, let's say, status is selected for development, maybe backlog if somebody started working on something in backlog for some reason. Oh, not that. Sorry. Component, add an action, transition issue to in progress. Okay. Branch created in progress transition, right? Because I figured, we are developers. We want to work in PHP Storm. We want to work in VS Code. We want to work with PHP, SQL, Java, okay, not just JavaScript, but Twig and stuff like that. We don't want to go around Jira and push boxes. So let's see if this will work. I'll just have to find my mouse. Okay. Whoa, okay. So what was the name of my task again? So, 14. So git 14 demo. Okay, so we switched to a new branch. We started working on it, and then we just do git track is just a shortcut for git push -u origin blah blah blah. You know the drill, right? So I, as a developer, got the task. I opened it. I saw the task ID. I created the branch, and I pushed the empty branch before I started working. So let's see what happened here. Nothing for some reason. Oh, because I didn't save it, probably. Sorry? No, unless I, what did I do? Oh, yeah, I set this pull request. Oh, yeah, I just, it was this one, right? And pull request created.
This one is disabled, this is another one.
Okay. This one, right?
One up, yeah,
Yeah, that one. Okay. Yeah, true that. True that. Okay. Thank you for saying that. So it was branch. What? And this is why everyone loves Jira.
And live demos, or big screen.
Okay, branch creator, right? Okay. Let's see. I'm not sure if it will trigger because I have already branch, so I'll just new branch demo. It's really hard to write when the screen is behind you because for some reason mirroring does not work on my machine. So, okay. It was 15. Okay, so now it's in progress. Yeah. Sorry, it took a little bit longer, but I'm gonna be honest. And when I first started working with this and implementing this, this was the first stuff that I did, first change, and this took off like 50% of all frustrations between project managers and developers. This was really, really like a huge win. It seems like a small stuff, and it is really small stuff, and it's quite simple. But it's now, like 2 or 3 years later, I don't even, everybody just accepted it. Developers now think it's completely normal to just create new branch and just push empty branch. It just gotten into the flow. You have it in your fingers now. And everybody that knows that task is in progress, right? Okay, so we have some time. Maybe I can do some other. Maybe this time I can show one of them instead of creating. So I'm not. So it's similar when pull request is created. If it's in progress and start for development, transition issue to dev review. So if I go back here, and touch. Oh, my neck is going to hurt after this. Okay. I have to remember to reverse to turn this on. So it was what? This one, right? PR create yeah. This one? Fuck. Okay. This will create a pull request. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up this time. Okay, yeah, so it's not in every view. You can add different stuff here also, so that's something that's really cool. This just moves into dev review. We usually add that it also adds a comment with the link to the pull request, so you can do really, really cool stuff with all of this. And it really, really helps as well. I had project managers who came from different departments into my department when we have such rules set up for years now, and they were like, wow, everything is going on magically, and it's normal. It should be like that, you know? Developers shouldn't be forced to, when they create the pull request, go to Jira and then say, yeah, we created the pull request, here's the link, blah, blah, blah. Why? We can have the machine do that for us. You know? So it just makes sense. We can go on. You can do it when it's ready for deploy and stuff like that, We can move on. But let's get back to here for a second. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay, so there's also the next thing that we can do. Okay, this is all fine when stuff is going on within Jira, within the system, right? Because pull request created, branch created, that's all within the system because you have integration, right? You have integration with Bitbucket, you have integration with GitHub or GitLab or whatever you're using. But what happens when you want Jira to react to something that something from the outside is doing? For example, if you have some deployment process and you want to create a new version, like this, release new version. Maybe something like that. In any case, they have also that covered. They have incoming webhook. Let's try to set up that one and see if it will work. Okay, we have it, I think, here somewhere. Deploy done, yeah. So I will just, yeah. It's pretty simple. You create a webhook, you have the URL, and then you have, again, some condition, JQL, Jira query language, and you can define for which tasks it should act upon. And then, of course, what to do. Transition to done, probably not. You probably want transition to done, but maybe, I don't know, review on prod or whatever the fuck. You can also provide issues in the webhook or different stuff. But let's focus on this one. This is quite simple, quite dumb example. First, let's put this into ready for deploy. And I will just show you the whole code. This is it. Oh, this is huge now. OK. Are any of you familiar with deployer PHP? It's quite simple. It's quite nice. We're using it for smaller projects where we don't have the whole system CI/CD set up. It's written in PHP. It's really nice to automate your deploys. I recommend it if you have need for it. So this is one of the deployer tasks that you can run during deployment. As you can see, it's really simple. You just have the URL, and then you just send a request. I purposely didn't do anything special here. Just curl and send a request. Nothing more, nothing less. So let's just pretend that we are doing deploy. Dep is the deployer. Jira deploy is the task, and we can do it on prod server. OK. And if we go back here, new branch demo. I didn't. Yeah, I should have first do that. Yeah, OK. Here you go. So it goes pretty easily. It can be used for different stuff. But then again, sometimes that is also not enough, right? What if we want even more control over what's happening in Jira? What if we want our external system to know what is going on in Jira? Maybe we have some log, like audit log, that we want to be filled in. What if we have to do some reports, or we have some other integration that we need to implement? Jira webhooks. So basically, you can register an URL, which will be a webhook, and Jira will then notify you on that webhook when something happens. So I will just try to show it now. Just have to find my. OK, webhook. So this is documentation. Jira webhooks. Jira in total has pretty good documentation about everything, about webhooks and stuff. You can really see what's going on. You can really be confident about the responses you're going to get. So you can use this. When you're setting up a webhook, one note is that you will have to be admin. You have to have administration rights for this. But it's pretty simple. You create a URL. You set URL to your application. And you will say, in this case, I said it will work on all issues, whichever. And it will send us something when issue is created, updated, or deleted, right? So we have this. Now let's see. I created actually just a really, really simple webhook. Yeah, it's also just a controller which doesn't do anything smart. It just takes a request, parses it, gets some information, and persists it into database. So it's really, really simple just for demonstration purposes. So let's say we want to do like a change log or audit log so we can log any changes in Jira within our system. So it's really, really simple. And let's see if this will work now. Oh, just a sec. VPN. Nope. Okay. Use Jira. It's slow. Okay. Truncate. Okay. So now I can just, to demonstrate, move this into in progress. And now we have, does everyone see this? Yeah, here. We have a new entry. So it's really, really simple. It worked even over this scrappy network. It worked really nice. You just do something in Jira and it got written into a database. So it's really, really nice to use it and really, really simple. And then again, you have Jira API. This is the most powerful. This gives you most freedom, and basically you can do anything with it. So if you want to do anything that you are not able to do with automation, but you're not able to do with the webhooks, you can do with Jira API definitely. It also has great documentation. It's really, really powerful. You have everything written on the internet. It has the SDK for PHP. I didn't use it in my example because it's not neat. I just wanted to show how simple it is to use. And that's about it. Yeah, let's just show that. That's, again, app report command. So let's just say you have, we have data that this is now too big. Okay, so basically, if we have now webhook data, and maybe we want to check that everybody who did some changes on the tasks actually put in some workload here, right, in the task. So basically what we do is we get data, find all, get user email address. So there's going to be one API call. It's really, really simple, as you can see. And then we will just get its work logs here. Here, for every issue, we'll get a work log. And let's see if that was going to work. Maybe something will work out of the box today. Yeah, OK. So I've just dumped it out just so you can see. This is the user information from the first endpoint, and these are the work logs. Here we can see it's a work log where I spent 25 minutes working on it. So that's basically it. As you can see, Jira provides many, many different options. It provides a lot of tools that many projects do not use. I think that everyone should try to make Jira accessible to everyone on the project. I think that we should all work towards having a less stressful environment and having less frustration and less conflict between us. Jira is a shared responsibility, and everything you do, you should try to make it as easy as possible. One thing that I would like to warn you, when you will be implementing something like this, be persistent, be insistent, insist on getting it right. You will make mistakes. I made mistakes. When I first started doing this, I went a little bit overboard, I saw a shiny thing and I played with it. And it turned the project into a mess very, very soon. And everybody was like, other people on the project were, oh, you have to turn off automation, it doesn't work, it just makes a mess. No. What I did made a mess. Automation should work. It should be possible to get it to work for your project, for your needs, for your team. So sit down with the whole team, sit down with your project manager, with the rest of the team, find out what are the pain points. What is it that makes them frustrated? And work on that. Work on one simple point first, as I did. I first worked on when you create a branch, put it in progress. Find out what is the biggest problem, work on that. And then do small steps and do more and more until the point you get where you're happy, where the project just flows. And yeah, I think that's about it from me. Thank you very much. I think we have some time for questions, if there are any. No? There's no mic? No?
Hi, thanks for the talk. I was wondering, the automation you set up for one project in Jira, what if you have 30 projects? Can you reuse those rules?
Yeah, basically you can. You can set global rules for the whole organization, or you can create rules for the project itself. So it can be done, and it goes like, it just falls back, onto global projects. So yeah, it can be done. It can be very easily done, yeah.
Awesome, thanks.
Anyone else?
Not sure if this is something that you have any experience with, but I'm currently working on importing some data into my Jira, data from another system. Do you have any tips on how to go about that? Use the internal API or use the import-export functionality?
We did have some attempts to do that because we worked with, and at one point we had 3 different Jiras that were having similar stuff, yeah, and we tried to do it, and frankly, I think the best way is to do with the REST API, but to be honest, we didn't finish it because it proved to be really, because Jira is highly customizable. So if all different Jiras are like simple cloud versions, then you can do it, no problem. But if you have, as we did, have 2 heavily customized Jiras that were not cloud but server ones, it turned out to be such a pain to make everything fit. So we just didn't do it at all at the end.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much.